From years of anxiety to warrior and mentor, Bradley Robinson created the Anxiety Project to help you end your anxiety naturally. Let's mold the new you and let's end anxiety together.
Hello and welcome to episode 139 of the Anxiety Project podcast. I am Brad Robinson here again with a new episode, and this one is on the two biggest anxiety fears, right? The fear of your mortality and social judgment, being out in public, afraid of dying, but also making a fool out of yourself while you die. Huge for a health anxiety sufferer. So I want to get into that. I want to get into why that's the case and really what you can do about it, right? Before I get into that, last week's episode, you found it to be extremely useful and powerful because I talked about our safe spaces and where they are exactly. To a health anxiety sufferer, nowhere is safe, but how you can develop tools and techniques and strategies within yourself and make your own self the safe space, no matter where you are. Whether you're on the plane feeling anxious, you know what to pull out of your tool belt, and you know what to use in that situation in order to handle it, in order to get through it, more empowered than before, right? So it's so powerful that you listen and follow this podcast for those tools, for that information that will put you in formation towards your higher self. Jamie Reed leaves a comment on the last episode saying, I totally relate to what you were saying about how your house and even your bed is no longer a safe space. I wake up at 2 a.m. in panic and feel totally lost in my own mind. I am now working on pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Great comment, Jamie. I'm so grateful that you share your experience here on the podcast. And this episode is going to relate to you and what you're saying for sure. Marcella says, it's crazy how relatable and useful your podcast is. Sending love from Texas. Good old Texas. Thank you for your comment and thank you for sharing your thoughts. I appreciate it. Maggie Balderas says, great episode, Brad. Could you do another on strange body sensations caused by anxiety? Dealing with that is a huge thing for me. Thanks. Yes, definitely I will. I'll keep a note. And I also have a YouTube video on this subject. I think it's titled Sudden Body Pains. And I released it a little over a year ago. So just scroll through the videos and you'll see that title. This episode, I want to start it off with a quote from Seneca. He says, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." And that is so true. Now, the two biggest fears for an anxiety sufferer is their mortality and social judgment. Now, mortality, because, well, it's the complete unknown, right? It's the ultimate unknown we humans have to face on this earth. Those strange sensations are linked to the complete unknown. The sensations that you get when you're walking in the shopping mall and you feel the pain or the lightheadedness or the shallow breathing, whatever it is, you get that sensation and that triggers your anxiety response, right? That's the total unknown. That's the big what if. What if this sensation leads to ultimate death? First, the body reveals unresolved emotional challenges in the form of images and sensations. It could be an image that comes up in your mind that triggers your anxiety, or it could be the sensation itself triggering your anxiety. Like this, when you feel the sensation, right, that leads to a lot of what if thinking. Or the same sensation that you had when you had a panic attack at 10 years old, and having the sensation arise now, it triggers the past event. So now you're reliving the panic when you were 10 years old. And since these challenges and situations are unresolved in your unconscious mind, they activate our threat of pain response, our fear response, our anxiety response. This response says to us, well, I have to figure out what happened exactly in order to not walk into this situation again, right? It's there to keep us safe. And if left unresolved, then your unconscious mind will hold onto this baggage until resolved. It'll hold on to it. The glass will keep filling with water. So, if you don't know you suffer from anxiety, or perhaps you do, and you're walking in the mall and feel those strange sensations, well, the unknown has just popped up. The what ifs have come to light. Then the what ifs start and you become hyper focused on them. You become hyper focused on yourself and how you're feeling. And then afterwards, this leads to avoidance if the person decides to get out of the environment that they're in. And they avoid the environment because it is now associated to those sensations and emotions you just experienced, right? Your body's saying to you, well, I don't want to go back there because what if there's a threat there and I don't want to go and experience that threat again. That's a threat to my life. I treated that environment like it was a threat to my life. And your unconscious is saying, I do not want to go back there because I might experience that threat again. There is also the fear of social judgment linked to this experience as well. Many people wear a false mask in public to appear normal, while inside they feel the complete opposite. While on my recovery journey, I began to open myself up to other people about the pain that I used to experience with anxiety. I told others that things were not okay for me. Things were not okay. I was not this perfect guy you saw on Instagram, this outgoing, fun, carefree guy everyone saw on Facebook. I was suffering from this anxiety and I started to express my story outwards to people. And so many of us, we want to hide our weaknesses because we want to appear strong. We want to appear like the persona on our Instagram channel. But true strength is talking about your weaknesses, confronting the darkness you have always avoided, confronting the unknown. And when I began this podcast, so much of myself was resistant to telling my story of, well, just basically the fear of what other people think and the fear of coming across as weak. But the people I was looking up to and still am looking up to, they always talk about their weaknesses. They always talk about their demons, their struggles. And while I listen to these people, I feel like I want to be like these people, right? I view them as strong, as powerful people, right? There's true strength in expressing the pain that you are going through or have gone through. And the more I spoke out about my anxiety disorder, the more people came to me and began sharing their own journey. I remember when I started the Anxiety Project, someone from my old high school that I knew said they suffered from anxiety. They came out and they said that they related to the story I was telling. And so people, they need someone to take that courageous leap in order for them to realize that they themselves could take that leap. Now, the people I was looking up to at the time, and still are looking up to, still am, they talk about their struggles all the time, and I saw and felt nothing but true and utter strength within them emanating forward. And I saw that their truthful speech was nothing but liberating to myself, that I could be the man to come out to the world and talk about my struggles with anxiety. When I suffered from health anxiety, I didn't want anybody to notice that I was acting strange. Like being at my old job in a meeting, for example, I would have that anxiety and I would be fidgeting around, moving restlessly in my chair, touching parts of my body, fidgeting. And I didn't want anybody to notice that. And I always thought people noticed. I always thought that. And we are social creatures after all. And our history shows that if we are separated from the tribe, that would mean death, right? We're social beings. God knows how many hundreds of thousands of years this fear was strengthening within us while living in tribes in those harsh environments. Because in those harsh environments, when you're not in that tribe, right, in that area of safety, the wilderness is the complete unknown. If you're exiled from the tribe, that was certain death. You could not survive in the woods for long. Mother Nature will devour you, right? So this feeling of not being normal, like everybody else, it can make you feel completely isolated and alone. But everybody has their demons that they're contending with. And do not compare your struggles with other people's struggles, because your demons and challenges you have are real. And they are the dragons you need to slay. They are your dragons. When you begin to challenge yourself to situations that bring up these fears, suffer through them and ride the wave. When you do this, you show the fear response that not only can you survive this experience, but you are capable of much more than you thought. Facing those dragons increases your self-respect and bravery, and that bleeds out into your social interactions. The fear of what others think begins to shrink slowly and slowly, because you dragged yourself through hell. When you see yourself in the mirror, now you see somebody totally different. somebody that can handle life's challenges and survive. Then, as you strengthen your personality, you begin to see more faults and demons in other people around you. And then you start to realize, hey, everyone has their own challenge they are contending with. Because underneath the surface, just underneath the surface of everybody here on this planet, you're bound to find a tragedy and a challenge and a demon they are contending with. Because after all, we are human beings. And that's where I'm going to leave you on this podcast episode. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for leaving your comments. Please check out the Anxiety Project on YouTube. I post new videos and I post the podcast on there weekly. And I have a lot of meditation videos as well. Be sure to check those meditation videos out because you guys find them extremely useful and they are healing. They actually heal you and move you into enlightenment. Very powerful. And lastly, do not let anxiety define who you are. I will see you on the next podcast episode, or it could be a video. Bye for now.
Brad's powerful anxiety recovery program is now available at unpluganxiety.com. The Anxiety Project program is downloadable and puts the power of anxiety recovery in your own hands. Visit unpluganxiety.com for more details. Recovery starts now.